All right, may I beg your attention, please? Good evening, all of you beautiful people. You look exceptionally beautiful. And the reason you all look so exceptionally beautiful, because you all wanted to look exceptionally beautiful for a remarkable human being and a friend and a comrade and a leader and a source of inspiration to many of us here, Dr. Chinmoy Banerjee. We affectionately call him Chairman Chin because he is chairman of practically everything in our midst. Anything that he touches, he becomes a chairman. And we follow him with our eyes closed because we know that he is not going to lead us astray like many other prophets in the history have done, but he is going to do the right thing by leading us to the right path, and he does. He serves very good wine at his home when we go there, and excellent scotch when we go there, and he is an amazing person. I'll talk about him later, but let me first acknowledge some of the very, very important people who means a lot to him who are here. We are very privileged to have Robin G here. And it's really remarkable to see her and see her in good health and see her being so beautiful. We are privileged to have Anand here, Chinda's first son, and his another son, Jack, who is here, and his beautiful spouse, Paula, is here. And their two beautiful children, Daniel and Sophia, are there. We are also privileged to have Josh and Emily Miles here, who are another...
They're not here.
They are not here, but they attend in a spirit, and we drink that spirit. So we are also happy to note good wishes for Chinda coming from Newfoundland, from his daughter Nandini, and his beautiful granddaughter Lexi, whose pictures are all over his apartment when you go, and that beautiful young lassie who is running around on the green fields is his granddaughter Lexi. We are very grateful to friends who are here, and all of you have honored Chinda's old-time friends like Archana ji is here, Dr. Habiba Zaman is here. Our friend Charan Gill is here. Raj Chauhan is here. I mean, Patricia Gruben and Dr. Martin Godfrey are here. And I just cannot continue to name names because Moon is here. You know, any person I see anywhere, and all I see is beautiful friends who have been a big part of Chinda's life, who has enriched our life, and who has enriched and has supported and helped with the activism in the lower mainland, and kept the calls for justice and peace and equality alive here, and for which as much gratitude I express to Chinda is less. I would like to take this opportunity in inviting some of the folks who have very graciously consented to say a few words for him. And the first person that I will I'm going to invite is Sirish Rao. He is the head of Indian Summer Festival and has been spreading lots of love and lots of music and lots of information in our city. We are very grateful to Sirish to come here. Of course, it must have taken him lots of energy to quit and leave for a little while the sight and closeness of his beautiful little baby daughter. Sirish.
This evening is clearly going in ascending order of quality. So I don't know if I'm privileged to be asked to speak first. But yeah, I mean, I think I arrived here 9-10 years ago from India. This was a place completely new to me, and I had no community. And actually, it was Patricia and Martin who invited myself and my partner Laura to dinner at their place, and we met Chin and Robin. And we talked about hagiographic statues and how the size of a statue could be matched to a politician's ego. We talked about graphic novels. We talked about the link between Hyder and Macbeth. And we went on this meandering but purposeful conversation, which I think really exemplifies, and what I appreciate so much about Chin is he has space for many different kinds of people. And I feel that he somehow participates in an act of weaving, in which I feel grateful to have been a part of that, and felt so encouraged by everything he's done from then on, and by getting to know all of you. So thank you for being a community for me when I arrived here. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Brother Sirish. Chinda, I also wanted you to know that Maya and Mac send lots of love for you. And we have another friend who is going to speak, but that person cannot be here. So they said that they will be speaking through cell phone. And since we are not driving, it's okay to use your cell phone here, right? Hello? Yeah, just go ahead now.
Okay. Hi, Dad. I know a lot of love, respect, and appreciation has gone into this event in your honor in order to recognize your years of tireless and selfless human rights work and your community service. I really wish I could be there to celebrate with you, but I will see you very soon. So enjoy your evening, enjoy the recognition, and you have all my love.
Thank you, Nandini ji. You are very kind. That was Laxi's mom, a.k.a. Chinda's daughter, Nandini, from Newfoundland. Now, Chinda, what you have done, I mean, you have, after Hariji left us, you have kept us together. Not only you kept us together, but you kept us together with a great deal of love and consideration and understanding. And in the process, you also led two different organizations which were not very much around when Hari was around, and that is Hari Sharma Foundation, as well as South Asian Film Education Society. You have educated us, you have helped us, you have inspired us. We are grateful to you. I would like to take this moment to request let's say Dr. Habiba Zaman to come and say a few words for you.
Thanks, Jahid Bhai, for asking me to go now. I was not that kind of prepared. I just listed my name. Just I thought that I should also say thanks or convey my thanks to Chinda for various reasons. I met Chinda as a colleague of mine at SFU when I started at SFU in 1995. And interestingly, I always met him at the parking lot. Either he was leaving and I arrived like that way. And then through Dr. Hori Sharma's that lots of events at his house, Hori Sharma's house, I met Chinda for various events, for various occasions, and I got to know him little bit. But once Dr. Hori Sharma passed away, Chinda actually took the leadership of South Asian community, I can say easily. And with him, that I participated in many, many events, and he always encouraged me to attend, to participate, to talk. And one of his interesting events was genocide. And I also delivered a talk on genocide in Bangladesh. And I received a very nasty letter from one of the religious-minded people, a writing person in Bangladesh, who was also teaching or who is also teaching in the United States. That's quite amazing. I think what Chinda inspired me very much, actually, that how to organize any events. I think that's the leadership or that's the organizing quality that I got from Chinda, and Chinda always encouraged me to organize community event. And you also know the university or the academia, they do not actually recognize it when it comes to any kind of salary review or anything. But I feel that, yeah, this is the gift Chinda gave it to me, and he led the South Asian community, as well as he always took a stand when there was religious fanaticism in different parts of South Asia. And Chinda, I honor you on this occasion. Thank you.
So grateful to you, Dr. Habiba Zaban. I would like to now invite a friend who has been with us, with Chinda, for a very long time, especially since South Asian Film Education Society. I'd like to request Ashok Mathur to come and say a few words.
Oh, God, I didn't think my name was on that was on that list, but nevertheless. Hi, Chin. Good to see you, and good to see Robin too. They've been our oldest friends in Vancouver since forever. I don't really have an awful lot to say, so I'm just going to say, we love you, Chin. I think all of us in this room do. And have a lovely evening. Thanks.
Well, I would like to request Dr. M.V. Ramana, newest arrival in Vancouver, and our life has been enriched by his beautiful presence since he has arrived here. Dr. Ramana.
Thank you, Zahid. As Zahid mentioned, I'm relatively new here. I've only been here for less than 2 years. And but when I did come here to interview for my job at UBC, Heather Nizamani sort of organized a dinner in his house where I met Chin. And it was a very warm and interesting discussion, and a very deep discussion as well on the sort of politics of South Asia. And based on that, I would want to correct what Zahid said. Zahid said he always shows the right path. I think Chin always shows the left path. It was instrumental. It was one factor that I did consider when I did decide to move here. And I'm very grateful to Chin for having included me in so many different groups after in the short period that I've been here, and been extremely fortunate. And thank you all for sharing.
Thank you, Ramana. I stand corrected. Chin did show us the left path, and for which we are grateful. I would like to request Dr. Indira Prast, who is a remarkable comrade, friend, and we love her. And she has been with all of us for a very long time. Dr. Indira Prast.
Thank you. Ashok, since you only used 2 minutes, I cash in on those. Actually, one of the biggest challenges to speak about our dear brother Chin is there are too many words. So because of that, and not wanting to go into lecture mode, I've prepared a small speech. When I think of Chin, many thoughts and memories are evoked. What resonates with me in particular is Chin's activism and his love for it, debunking fake news, and his resistance manifested in manifold ways, not in Kafkaesque ways, but Chin, that's for you to decide. It is important to also recognize the tireless work that you've done for SANSAD, SAFES, and the Harry Sharma Foundation. Your spirit is a major chunk that threads through all of those organizations. And I, in particular, really appreciate your voice and your energy and power in speaking out for the undertrodden, especially women's spaces that have been very difficult to access. I do have to say, in the days when our dear Harry Sharma was physically with us, the two of you were inseparable. You were like twins, but not identical. You had ideological differences, which you played out like a choir. We did not need music in those moments when we were there. Harry was a key support and mentor, and you have carried that on for me, perhaps unknowingly. In deep gratitude, thank you for your sincere care for people. And I do want to highlight that in current geopolitical times, there is an increase in indifference to human suffering, a lack of empathy. Your actions and words illuminate being disturbed, which we should, especially in times of environmental and human ethics being degraded. I think of one of your favorite thinkers, Hannah Arendt's words, "Revolutionaries do not make revolutions. The revolutionaries are those who know when power is lying on the street and they can pick it up." Your activism shines light and hope, not only for social movements, but in continuing to live life positively, knowing the potential and cruelty and the evil in human beings. You have been an inspiration to the present and younger generation, not only your tireless work, but your sincere concern for human life. And I want to end with my favorite poet, Khalil Gibran. Safeguarding the rights of others is the most noble and beautiful of a human being. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Indiraji. Very grateful to you. As you know that today is 17th of May, which is 2 days after the day that is commemorated by Palestinian people as Nakba Day. And we are privileged and honored to have with us comrade, brother Sid Sinead, who will say a few words for our agenda.
Thanks, Sahir. Good evening, friends. It's a real pleasure for me to participate in this evening honoring our friend and comrade Chin. I've known and worked with Chin for nearly 40 years, Chin. 40 years. Our joint efforts date back to the days of the BC Organization to Fight Racism, which was established in the early 80s in response to the rise of the KKK in British Columbia. Ever since that time, Chin has been active in countless social justice struggles, playing a constructive role and doing the hard work necessary to make such struggles successful. Throughout this time, he has exhibited enormous energy and integrity and provided honest, constructive criticism along the way. In addition to being a dedicated activist, he was an inspiring professor of English literature at Simon Fraser. Our daughter, Joanna, told us that Chin was the best prof she had at her time at SFU. Despite experiencing a serious health crisis that required serious convalescence, Chin has maintained his active participation in organizing and promoting social justice. In conclusion, I'd like you to join with me in thanking Brother Chin for his exemplary role in struggling for a better world and inspiring others to do so as well. I look forward to working with him for years to come.
Thank you very much. Just that you know that Brother Sid is also a big part of the newest minted entity called Vancouver Democracy Alliance. And that Vancouver Democracy Alliance, once again, an inspired reflection on part of Chinda, which he converted into praxis and brought us all together, and we organized this. And a Vancouver Democracy Alliance will be honoring two very, very important thinkers and intellectuals and activists of our time this fall. Please keep your eyes open for that. We would be, Ramana is a part of that, Sid is part of that, I am part of that. Nice Bollywood music behind me, I mean, just that you know. And the two people that we are honoring, one of them is an amazing human being, a very, very beautiful friend and a comrade, Dr. Mordecai Breamberg, who is unfortunately, he's not feeling too well, so he could not be with us. His beautiful spouse is with us. Yes, Liz, of course, so that's another person who will be honored this year with that same award is David Barsamian, and if you have not known him, please go back, go to Counterpunch and read his piece today that was published on Iran, which is a remarkable eye-opener and a very, very informative piece. I would like to now take this opportunity to invite a remarkable friend, a beautiful friend. She has inspired us all, and I think one of the future recipients of this kind of award, Dr. Patricia Gruben.
Well, like Ashok, I'm a little surprised because I'm shy about doing things like this. But while people have been speaking, I've been thinking about the two remarkable qualities that Chin has that you don't often find in one person. One is the leadership, the ability to invent things and to inspire us all to follow him into the breach, and the other is the hard work he puts into the details of phoning people, emailing people, doing all the little jobs that nobody else wants to do. And when he's not there to do them, they tend to fall by the wayside. So I don't even know how long I've known you, Chin. It's been at least 20 or 25 years. And originally through Hari, and then being brought into the Hari Sharma Foundation and SAFAs. And I think that's given me a community of friends, and both a cultural and a political kind of grounding that I don't think I would have otherwise. So thank you for all of that.
We all know in this city a beautiful couple. Now they are more than a couple, they are three. And one is called Harsha, another one is called Harja. I mean, usually we just know them either with either name, and that means we are talking about them. I would like to invite our beautiful comrade, friend, a beloved younger brother, Harjab Grewal.
Thank you. Thanks, Zahid. Yes. Hi, everybody. I'll be very brief. I just, first of all, wanted to come here and express my love for Chin and all the work that he's done, and also express my great gratitude to all the support that he's given over time. I wanted to just tell a short exchange that I had with Chin. Over the years, I think Chin's probably been quite frustrated because I haven't been around SANSAD for a while. I don't respond to emails, et cetera, et cetera. And I think about several years ago, about 4 years ago, I was in my own kind of little political crisis and organizing, and I was really trying to think through what I need to do in a really intense moment in my life. And the fact that I actually thought about reaching out to Chin, I think says a lot, in the sense that I actually respect not only his opinion politically, but also his kind of long view of political activism and what it means to engage in this work in the long term. And I reached out to him, and he spent a whole bunch of time with me on the phone. I was in my own little crisis, thinking about this, thinking about that. He really talked me through it. But also in the end, when he was getting, I think, a little sick of me being like, I can't say this, I can't do that, what do I do? He just kind of said to me, Harjap, just say what you have to say and get on with what you need to do. And that was basically his very simple advice, which I think doesn't mean a lot to people in a moment of political crisis. But I think what he was trying to tell me was, as at Harjap, you have to trust your convictions and trust your politics and move on with that work. So I don't think I ever had a moment to thank Chin in that moment, so I just wanted to come here and thank Chin for that kind of support that he offers, not only to all the people he's organized with for 40 years, but some of us that are several decades behind in terms of the work that we've been doing. So I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Harjap. I would like to now take this opportunity to invite Anand to say a few things about his dad, if he wishes to. Anand is shy, we are told. Okay, there. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paula, and I'm one of Chin's daughters-in-law. Chin and Robin met after I was already married, and I never forget opening the door in front of the house, and they were giggling and kissing like teenagers. And then Chin said, I feel like a teenager. And I love that story forever. And also when my family came in Indian tradition, then he just completely took over their visit with Robin, and they opened the house, and there was this endless, amazing food and turkeys and wonderful evenings. So thank you so much, Chin. We really love you, and we appreciate you very much, and you have made us all a really good family.
Thank you, Paula ji. Thank you, Anand. You're so sweet. Love you very much, brother.
My name is Anand, and I'm Chin Banerjee's son. And so I'm going to be speaking to you from a different perspective than you all have here, which is that of the family member. And as you all know, this kind of work is very demanding and takes a lot of time and takes time away from personal life and family things, but it also gives us other invaluable things. So, I mean, we spoke about the Palestinian crisis earlier, that was alluded to. And I can tell you that probably in the year 1975, when I was in Cubs, I went to events in support of the Palestinian cause. And when I talked to my Cub mates, I was much more informed about international affairs, international politics than they were probably for decades. And that came from being exposed and involved in this at an early age. And I have lots of personal stories that I like to tell that are sort of cocktail party stories. One of which is how when I was at the age of 4, an American National Guardsman in the state of Ohio pointed a World War II M1 Garand 30-06 at my head. And I remember that clearly because we happened to be at a place and time where my father was doing his PhD. It was 1970, the month of May, and the university where my father was doing his PhD was one little campus called Kent State University. And it was that incident that sort of galvanized my father into politics. And it was a highly traumatic incident for me personally as well, because I remember that seeing as a 4-year-old the local newspaper that was delivered that day, and it featured an obscure photo of a girl crying like this with a man dead in the street in front of her, and that was a few blocks away. And that was personal to me. And shortly thereafter, we moved to Canada, and my father, within a few months, got a job teaching at Simon Fraser. And another memory from that period of time that's indelibly etched in my brain, and I think Professor Grubin will really appreciate this, and I mean this, is that I was watching, we had an old black and white television. I was watching Channel 9, and I was about 5 years old. And my father was showing me a movie. And because I was 5, I was not sophisticated in movies. And it was an old silent film. And I viewed that silent film from the perspective that people in 1924 would have viewed it, because I had no visual literacy to understand. And it was a film that was so powerful to this 5-year-old me. And there's one scene I'll never forget because it reminded me of my personal experiences at Kent State. And there's this scene where there's these people are protesting on these steps. And there's a Cossack walking down, and he shoots this woman, and she dies. And her baby carriage goes, and I remember that like it was personal. And that's all it's because of my experience and because my father had the faith and confidence in me as a 5-year-old to show me that. And I never, that fundamentally changed the way I saw the world from that point on. And then here's another story I like to tell people. And I actually told one of my colleagues at work, Sarwan Bol, I shared this with him with a group of other colleagues a few weeks ago. And that was, there's a lot of media coverage of the KKK and Charlottesville these days. And in fact, I recently saw a film by Spike Lee, which ends with that. And one of the main characters, one of the sinister characters in that is the head of the KKK at the time from Louisiana, whose name I won't even bother because we all know who that idiot is. And there was a famous photo in the Vancouver Sun in 1979, which was 40 years ago. And because that idiot was running for political office for the governor of Louisiana in 1992 when I was in law school. And he didn't win, but he raised a controversy about that. And the Vancouver Sun ran through its archives in 1992 and republished the cover page of a 1979 edition of the Vancouver Sun. and it was this. Here is what the people of Vancouver think about David Duke. And in the summer of 1979, when David Duke was coming to Vancouver to set up a KKK front in British Columbia because he saw that as the place that racism could get a foothold, what happened is that my father was standing there with a placard that said, "Vancouver doesn't welcome racism." And that image was captured and published on the front of the Vancouver Sun. So I told people at work, my dad was there to stand up to David Duke and the fucking KKK when they tried to come to Vancouver. And my colleagues were impressed. One of them said, "Man, your dad sounds like a real badass." So that's the story of his role in my life and what his activism has meant to me and my personal development. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand. That was very thoughtful and kind. And we all know that your dad is a badass. That's why we call him chairman. I would like to invite Dr. Muhammad Zaman to come and say a few words for Chinda, please.
Good evening. A big salute to Chairman Chin. I have known Chinda only for the last 10 years or so, that too through Habiba. And I have rarely seen an incredible person like him who loved the people and the planet. And I had the opportunity to work with him on climate change as an executive director of the Society for Bangladesh Climate Justice. And we did a couple of programs together. Unfortunately, I sailed off to another direction. And in recent times, Chinda is reading my articles on climate change, on disaster, on human rights, and also recently on the Rohingya refugee crisis. And I'm getting a lot of feedback from him, which is very inspiring. And I want to say to all of you that we are so fortunate to having him among us. Long live Chinda.
Thank you. I mean, Chinda is an incredible person who has collected a whole lot of marvelous, incredible, inspiring human beings. You have been hearing them all, and you will hear a few of them more. One of the guys that he attracted, that he worked with is a remarkable poet, an activist, a leader, and a teacher named Sadhu Binning. He has been here for a long time. Sadhuji. Sadhu also is the chairman of the Department of Atheists around. So if anybody would like to get their paper approved, he's the one. Go for him.
Thank you very much. That's wonderful. So glad to be here, honoring Chen, big brother, chairman. For me, Chen has always been inspiration at many levels. Politically, my writing, what I'm going to share with you is a poem and the story. I know the time is a problem. This was early 80s. I was a student at SFU, and I needed a poem translated from Punjabi into English. and I had no confidence. My English has always been. So I sort of looking around, who should I go for help? And I ended up in Chin's office. I don't know if he remembers or not. In his office, and I told him my problem. I said, I need to translate this poem. And he said, well, that should be no problem. What's the issue? So what we did, I read the poem in Punjabi, and he told me what it could be in English, and we wrote it down. But during that sort of discussion, he gave me that confidence that I needed. And with that confidence, I translated many of my poems and short stories from Punjabi into English, but that was the beginning. At that point, I had no confidence at all, and that one meeting gave me what I needed. So I'm going to read a poem, a different one, but this one, and with apology from people who read it, probably heard it before from me, but this is to show my love and respect for Chin and inspiration that he is, and my sort of picture that I have of political circles and my political world. He is in that picture. Dr. Hari Sharma, Chinmoy Banerjee, Harinder Mahal, Charanpal Gill, Sardan Bol, Sukhwant Hundal, Raj Chauhan, all these people are sitting in this meeting today. They're in that picture, and Chin is prominent in that picture, and I'm so glad that I'm here to honor him today. The heartbreaking incident. This is about Kamagata Maru. At the same shore of the ocean where once stood Kamagata Maru and went back, without kissing the shore sand, shrieking like a hungry elephant facing the guns. Now sitting amidst the scattered boulders, the driftwood, the gravel, the sand, I wonder how they witnessed the scene and listened to the voices of our grandfathers. I try to enjoy the music of the waves, but only the angry Punjabi voices from the Maru reach my ears. I ask the walking stones about the heartbreaking incident. They laugh, turn their faces, and walk away. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sadhuji. Chanda, we have another friend who sent good wishes to you. His name is Zul Suleiman. He couldn't be here. He's not feeling good. Oh, he's there. Oh, Zul came. All right, good. Because I thought you were not here. Zul, come on.
I have been made absent before my time. It's good to be here. My name is Zul Suleiman. I'm the editor of Rung Magazine and the executive director of the Rung Cultural Society. It's an honor to be here. My memories of Chin, as well as Dr. Hari Sharma and the activists who are here today and the cultural workers who are here today, goes back to the early 1990s. And I remember hosting events and trying to advocate for changes, largely around anti-racism, cultural work, and things like that. And I remember Chin being present at events that we had created and hosted. And I remember many of the people around here being there. What's amazing about the kind of alliances we share, the kinds of politics we share, the kinds of history we share, is that we're allied in a direction towards progressive change and the kind of society that we want to create. People like Chin, Sadhu, Sukhwant, Harsha, Harjop, many of the other people around here, Raj, many of the other people are pointing towards a direction for a brighter future for all of us so that we can see the kind of society we want to live in. And when we're in a direction, we need guiding lights. And Chin is one of those guiding lights. And what I want to acknowledge today is the historically grounded manner in which he has helped us, all of us, and engaged with all of us in these fights. I myself am very thankful. The work I do has been immeasurably made richer by his contributions, and I thank you all for being here, along with myself, to recognize his great work. Thank you very much.
And I think we are very grateful to Zul, who has, through his magazine Rung, was able to connect with all South Asian community and communities outside of South Asian diaspora. And we are very grateful to him. I was under the impression, last night he sent me, or a day before, a note that he is not feeling good. So I thought he may not be here, but you know, love brought him here. So let's give him an applause. Archana ji, please approach with the phone call. But you also come along because you want to say a few words, I know. Please. I would like to invite Archana ji, a long time comrade and a friend.
Just 1 second.
Yeah.
Sister from India.
Okay. Before Archana ji says anything, we have a very special person calling from several time zones away from the beautiful town of Kolkata. And here is for you, Chinda, and you need to listen to this one.
Speak loud, Didi Bhai. Speak loud.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Go on, go on.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Hello, everybody. My love to everyone. Greetings to everyone. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, just a minute.
Hold it there.
Oh, that's the where it is.
Yeah, I think.
Didi Bhai, speak.
Oh, no, down here.
Hello?
Didi, speak.
Okay, okay. Kajol? Hello, Kajol?
Could you
Kajol?
No, could you hold it? Yeah. But again, push it.
Yeah.
Kajol? Hello? Hello?
बिल्कुल ठीक है, बिल्कुल everybody is listening to you, Didi.
And my love and greetings to everyone. Best wishes to everyone.
Yeah.
Yes. This is Jahi, I think. Is it Jahi, isn't it? This is Jahi's voice.
Yeah, no, this is a very beautiful hall called Sapphire, and your brother is having pakoras while he's listening to us.
Oh, Chinmoy must be very surprised, isn't it?
He was very surprised.
He is very surprised, yes. I wish I could be there, but I couldn't this time.
But he did commit with Harinder that he's going to pay for the dinner, so he's going to pay for the dinner, looks like. Didi, you keep, you stay well, and we will continue on with Archana ji's speech.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, love you very much, in the sense is love to her, love to you.
Bye, Didi Bhai. Do you have to say anything?
Yay!
My name is Archana Datto, and I don't know that how many here knew Chinmoy in 1976. How many people knew Chinmoy in 1976? I know you because you know you are Mordecai's wife. I came here in 1972 to get married, and guess whose house was open for us? That was Chinmoy's house. And Anand, who said something wonderful thing, and he was only 6 or 7 or something, and Nandini was even younger. And I didn't know that all this, what has inspired him to be what he is today, what he said today. Thank you, Anand. And when I came here, I was very new, and at that time, you have heard KKK all over the place. And Hari Bhai, Chinmoy, Harinder Bhai, Raj, and their wives, we were all singing together lots of songs for Farm Workers Union and BCOFR and Rishad and all kinds of stuff. But then I got deviated from all this political scene, and my disposition is not for a political party. But my disposition is to keep friendship with whom I have been associated with in Vancouver. And Chinmoy is one of them, and he never failed me. But in some time, we were not in touch. But every time there is anything political, he would send messages, any movies or any parties or whatever, and I have been in them, but I have not participated in very many ways. And I'm sorry, Chinmoy, about that. But what I know, you didn't know, that Didi Bhai and his father, you didn't know them. I knew his father, who came to my place. At that time in Surrey, I was living, and I invited him, and he was very happy to have a dinner at my place, at our place. And he said, "How did you know that I love eggplants?" I said, to a Bengali person, to loving eggplants is nothing new. So that's why you have heard about her political atmosphere. I'm just trying to give him a human nature that he has. He has embraced all of us, whether I'm political or not, apolitical, anti-political, whatever. He embraces all, and that is the beauty of his character. Thank you, Chinmoy.
Well, I would like to invite, now we are getting to the very end. The deal is this, that 8:30 we are going to eat, and in about 20 minutes we are hoping that you'll finish eating, and then we will start about 9 o'clock. We will start with the variety program to regale you with the song and dance and all the rest of it. I would like to invite Abhiji. Abhiji is a very unassuming person.
Chairman Chinda, salam. Thank you all for coming. Thank you. Chinda, it's an honor, it's a privilege
it's truly inspiring experience to have you in my life. Thank you, Chinda. Thank you so much. And more to come. Thank you. Thank you.
One of the persons that we were hoping would be here, he couldn't be here because he's not feeling good. But he is an asset. He is one of the greatest treasures we have in the city. And we are so grateful to him to be sharing or allowing people like me, humble humans like me, to be sharing same sky with him. And I'm talking about a beautiful friend, Dr. Mordecai Breamberg. His spouse, Liz, is here. I would like to request her to come and tell us something about Mordecai, or about two other people that I had forgotten at some time, Julius and Ethel Rosenbergs. And it was Sister Liz who reminded me at one point that, no, today is their birthday. And so I'm grateful.
Yes, thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here and see everybody here and hear all these great remembrances about Chin's work. I know Chin since, middle 70s, I guess, when Mordecai, my husband, was involved with him and Hari. Hari was with Chin, a very good friend of ours, involved in first, I think it was the farm workers organizing and then the BCOFR. And it was really very exciting times in many ways. They were really active and doing lots of good stuff. And even things like teaching ESL to farm workers and doing all sorts of things that were quite on the sort of periphery of actual political organizing. Anyway, I would like to say I was happy to be invited. I'm really sorry that Mordecai can't be here. His health is not allow him to do that, but I'm sure I bring greetings from him, Chin, very warm greetings, and great thanks for all the years that you and Hari and he were able to work together. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Sister Liz. I would like to, we were a few people who thought of this event. Dr. Patricia Grubin, friends Safdar Raza and Sajal and Samia, and the main guy was Harinder Mahil. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite him to say a few words, and then he can keep his peace.
Well, I met Chin in January 1976. He had just come back from India. It was at Hari's place. It was a few months after the Indian People's Association North America was founded. Chin and I basically joined just around the same time. So we used to have meetings at Hari's place. We would meet either Saturday or Sunday about 2 o'clock. The meeting's supposed to end in 2 hours. It will go on till 9, sometime till midnight. And about 70% of the meeting was polemical discussion or an argument between Chin and Hari, and we would just be enjoying the argument between the two of them. I was trying to think about how many organizations we worked together. In the last 43, 44 years I've known Chin. It was Indian People's Association North America, BC Organization to Fight Racism, Canadian Farm Worker Union, and the support committees that were set up for the Farm Worker Union. Then we had set up an organization called Nirisad and SANSAD, South Asian Film Education Society, Hari Sharma Foundation, SANSAD, and I'm sure I've forgotten some. There are definitely 9 or 10 organizations that we work together. In that time, between IPANA, SANSAD, Hari Sharma Foundation, I think we invited between 100 to 200 academics, journalists, other speakers to Canada from other parts of the world, primarily South Asia, from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and so on. Now, I worked closely with Chin. It's been sort of comradeship, a friendship. I've never taken a holiday with anybody other than Chin and Robin. So they went, they organized a trip about 15 years ago to South India. We had a lovely visit to India. Then we went about 10 years ago on a Mediterranean cruise. The last one was we went to Budapest and Prague a few years ago, and we even found a restaurant we call Jack's Restaurant. I forget the name of it. I simply call Jack's Restaurant because Jack had given a recommendation to Robin about this place. On a personal level, I've learned a lot from Chin. I'm sure, his love and dedication for people's struggles has left an imprint on anyone who meets with Chin. And it has an effect on me, and I'm sure I am who I am today because of that association with Hari, Chin, Raj, Sharon Gill, Sarvan Bol, Judy, and some of the other activists I worked with. It's been, last year was a scary time for us because Chin had a major health scare. I remember calling him up one day because we were supposed to have the annual general meeting of the Hari Sharma Foundation at his place. So I called him the day before and I said, Chin, have you prepared some comments about the president's report? He's the president. He's been the president of the foundation. He was the president of the Film Society. He was the president of SANSAD. He's been chairman to everything. So he said, no, sorry, I've been sick. And I said, what's the problem? He says, well, it's my gut. And he's had some problems with allergy and so forth. I said, have you seen a doctor? He said, no, what is the doctor going to do? It's my gut. Well, next day we had the AGM, and he was struggling. And I said, Chin, you should go and see your doctor. Whether he realized himself or some of us asked him, he went to see his doctor next day, who's a very good doctor. The doctor not only saw him, but sent him for a blood test. Well, in the afternoon, Kulu and I, my wife and I, went to see him. We were there when Dr. Barron called him, said, Chin, I'm calling an ambulance, get to a hospital as soon as you can. A few minutes, after, I heard the siren. I said, Chin, the ambulance is here. He said, Are yaar, stop him, I'm not ready yet. He's coming close to death, but he said, I'm not ready, stop him. Anyway, he was in the hospital. I went to see him the next day. He said, it's just too much intense pain. Just tell them to give me an injection, that's enough. And I said, Chin, you don't think that way, you're a fighter. Anyway, 3-4 days later, he's on the mend, he's getting medication, there are 8 of us around him, and he's thinking of all the projects that he could think of. He thought of enough projects to keep us going for 25 years. So I said, Chin, it's time to slow down. Just slow down a bit. He said, slow down? Just wait till the day I die. No, he said, no, we got to go on. That's the kind of, thinking about what else could be done gives them energy. Whereas, some of us may think, just let's slow down a bit, we don't have the energy. That energizes him. It's been a wonderful association, it's been great to work with Chin. It's been 44 years, and I hope that this goes on for a long, long, long time. Love you, Chin.
All right, now that we have entered this trajectory of old folks, I would like to invite Charan Gill to say a few things about his young friend Chin. Brother Charan.
hello, all brothers and sisters. I, in 1976, went to exhibition by Hari Sharma in the Vancouver Public Library. I met Chin, Harry, and everybody, Harinder there. They asked me to join Apana. But I said, okay. But they finally agreed to work on the farm workers issue. Raj Chauhan, Sarban Bol, Judy Kavanagh, myself, we started working on the farm workers issue. I didn't want to go there that much because I was more social type person, drinking whiskey and stuff. Hari said, come on, drink whiskey and do some work. I said, okay. So I joined all this farm workers committee in 1976. We started working on it. All these people are lifelong friends. Then 1980, when KKK came in, then we finally decided to form anti-racism organization, BC Organization to Fight Racism. Some of the people, Sid Schneid and Harinder, Chen, all these people are around here. During that time, we were getting just trained. We used to write press releases, then Chin and Harry will help us how to write proper press releases. One time, Raj Chauhan and myself went to CKNW to say about the farm workers. We thought we did a good job. When we heard our tape, we couldn't understand ourselves what we are saying. Then we finally got trained in UBC, changed our accent and work. Then BCOFR was formed, then we got involved in BCOFR. Many people, my friends are here, farm workers, BCOFR people, who helped us to go around that difficult period. But anyways, then I became president of the BC Organization to Fight Racism. Then we carried on all the work in the community work. We learned from Harry and Chin. As Harinder said, I attended many meetings, and there was conversations, arguments, they go for hours, and we patiently listen to them. But anyways, then I branched out, formed a society, big society, on $80. Now it's worth about 40 million and 180 people working. If you see on the right side, over there, 3-story mural of Komagata Maru on that building. That's PIC's building, seniors building. Then one time Chin and I went for hunting. We never saw a deer, we drank whiskey and came back after 3 days. Then we went to Trinidad and Tobago together. That's the social life we enjoyed ourselves. We had lots of fun. But still carried on community activities. I became, as a social worker, to work 30 years with Big Society, which is a very large society, now 150 people working. But I did my work because of this background that you never sit still. Try to work in the community, try to work in the meet community needs. So I really appreciate Chin's friendship, leadership, and his direction, and telling us what to do, and Hari Sharma as well. But anyways, we are all getting old now. Chin is getting old, myself as well. Knees are not working very good. But anyways, our people, friends, old BSU offer friends, farm workers friends, PICS friends, Epana friends are still together. We still get active. When we get angry, then we work for a while. But meantime, sometimes we say, some people say, it's time to relax. Sit back and relax and enjoy your life. So you might do that, but you never know. But we still are supporting community activities. I love and respect Chin. We still talk to each other once a week, twice a week, at least after 2 weeks, once in a while. Hi, how are you doing? I think it's a very good, have a circle of friends, at least 5-10 people, we get together once in a while. Now it's a big crowd to honor Chin. It's a great idea. Harinder, Raj, and all these people, we still are friends and work together. So I really appreciate all gathering today. Appreciate Chin, your work, your honesty, your tireless efforts to work for not only social but economic, as well issues of all the community life. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming, and thank you so much for inviting me. Oh, I have this BC organization's first executive meeting with Chin is there, Sid, and many other friends are there. I want to give to Chin this one.
Thank you, Chiranji. You are very beautiful. A friend who I met, I think it was 1983, 84, another friend, common friend, Chinda's and ours, who moved on a couple of years ago, Dr. Hassan Gardezi introduced me to him in Toronto. We were at this conference that was organized by then Canadian government on a report that was produced on visible minorities, and that was called Equality Now. And this young and dashing, handsome fellow that I met there, thanks to Dr. Gardezi, is this beautiful friend of ours who has continued to lead us, is the most hardworking MLA in this province, is a remarkable voice of the labor and peasants in this province and throughout Canada. I mean, and you all have guessed, is Raj Chauhan.
Wow. It's such an honor to stand here to talk about a beautiful human being that we all love. It's always good to celebrate anything and everything, but when you are celebrating a friend, it's just remarkable. It's just wonderful. Before I start, I also want to say that, Anand was introduced as a shy person. We need few more shy people like him. And I met Chin, as Harinder said, in 1976. I was first introduced to Dr. Hari Sharma in 1974 or 5, something like that, through Harinder. And I was awestruck when I met with Hari. Like any one of us, because many of us were associated with him, you meet with him once, that's it. For the rest of your life, you are gone. You're stuck with Hari Sharma. But then, we came to see and meet with Chin, and I was just wow. That's how I felt, because as Harinder said, we would go to Hari's house on the weekends and sometime during the week and sit there and talk and debate and discuss and fight and argue and everything. But when there was an argument between Chin and Hari, that was the most inspiring thing. In my initial days, when they argued, and they used some kind of words which I could not, understand, like it was really heavy duty. But it was lovely to see that when, they're going back and forth. And it's our Chin Bhai, our Chinda is an inspiration in my life. In my journey from the farm workers to Legislative Assembly of British Columbia, he has played a huge role. Thank you, Chin, for doing this. It's really wonderful. In those early days, in the 70s, we know many of us who were there, the racism was in your face. It was not subtle kind of racism. People were facing physical threats, eggs were thrown at people's houses, windows were broken, and people were literally killed. And in those days, Ipana, which I joined with Harinder and Chin and Hari and all that, we were together. We would be there anytime, every time we hear something, somebody needed a help. Through those days, we found out that it's not only the South Asians who were suffering or who were facing that kind of discrimination and racism. There were others, our sisters and brothers in the First Nations. Indigenous people had been, subject of discrimination for so long, and Chin and Hari, provided that leadership to bring us together to make sure that, in our fight against racism, in our fight against discrimination, that we were all together. That was the result when we formed the BC organization to fight racism. It was a very broad-based organization. It was not just South Asian kind of group. As a result, many people from all walks of life, the faith groups, the progressive groups, the unions, and other individual community groups, we came together to fight racism, and we pushed it so hard, we forced many changes in the society that what we see today. I remember the kind of language being used by newspapers and newspaper articles, the way to describe some incident, some criminal activity or something happens, immediately identifying that person by ethnicity. So we met with the editors of Vancouver Sun and other community organizations and media outlets and tell them, a criminal is a criminal. Why you have to identify them as a Sikh or Muslim or whatever? Those kind of incidents that happened changed our society a lot. We have come a long way, but a lot more needs to be done. Through this journey, people like Harinder, who's my friend, he's my mentor, we came together. We stood for people's rights. We stood for women's rights. We stood for children exploitation, not only in Canada, but anywhere in the world. We talked about Palestine. And those struggles are still continuing. And we need to do a lot more. People like Sharma Bol, Judy, Sadhu, Sukhwant, Chanpal Gill, Harinder, Archana, and Chen, we all came a long way. With your help, all of us together, we are part of that family. And we have to do more. And we can only do it when we have leaders like Chin. And I want to say thank you, Chin. You scared the shit out of us. One day we went to the hospital and he was saying, either it was Harinder or Zahid, he said, that's it. I want to do it. What's the point of continuing, when I can't contribute any more to the society? That was his line. I said, relax for God's sake. You will get well. You can't give up. And he did not, and he's here with us today, and we are celebrating a wonderful human being today. Thank you, Chen. We love you all.
Thank you so much. Now, we have a special friend who has traveled all the way from Lahore. And he is one of the illustrious alumnus of this National Art College, which is a remarkable institution in Pakistan. Despite Taliban, we have that. And we have with us a beautiful friend, Hamid, who is going to make a beautiful presentation to Chinda. Well, come to think of presentations, just to let you know that we are nearing the breakfast time. And I say breakfast because I have my son there sitting who is going to sing afterwards. He is fasting. This is the holy month of Ramadan. All of you heathens, you need to know, he is fasting. Okay? So we will break fast around 8:30. He will break fast at 9:05. I would like to invite Dr. Gruben, Harinder Mahir, Raj Chauhan, and and Sharan Gill, and Ashok, and Shahzad Khan to kindly approach and Harsha Walia to make the other presentation, please. Chinda, you will be required to walk a little bit. I can come and help. You need to read this. No, you are better looking.
So this is a plaque that is being presented, and it reads, presented to the much loved, beloved, respected, admired Professor Dr. Chinmoy Banerjee in recognition of his lifelong struggle for and mobilization towards building a just, equal, and peaceful world, for always siding with the oppressed, for never shirking from giving voice to those deprived of it. And underneath it's signed, Dr. Hari Sharma Foundation, South Asian Network for Secularism and Democracy, South Asian Film Education Society.
It's really, what can I say? I mean, as we know, it's a really humbling experience, which is why I had actually tried, I put a ban on this. I had made a ruling in Hari Sharma, Dr. Hari Sharma Foundation, that we shall not honor each other, right? Everybody had agreed to this, that we will not be that we'll be not honoring each other. Then when we formed Vancouver Democracy Alliance, again I suggested that this be a rule, that we shall not be honoring each other, right? I mean, this is bad form. It's kind of bad form. Not done. As the colonial masters, the British would say. No, it's simply not done. But anyway, I mean, what can I say? I mean, it's a truly humbling experience to be here, to listen to you. But I want to, since I have the floor, I can say a few words, right? First of all, I want to remember my good friend Hari, whom I remember every day. I mean, his picture, his photographs hang on my little den. So I always look at his work, and I always think of him, and I always remember that however much I fought with him, however much I resented the amount of time that he would take, and I told him in no uncertain words, the time I spent with him, the fights I had with him on an ongoing basis has really molded my life, and I've learned so much from him, Hari. I know you're not hearing it, it's okay, but all right, you're hearing it in my heart that I owe you a heck of a lot, buddy. Hari told me before he died, Chin, nobody has insulted me like you. So I said, yeah, well, I'm proud of that, Hari. I'm proud of that. But I'm also proud of the fact that I was at his bedside when he passed, and I sang him a song. Harinder and Raj and I were there. And I stood beside him and I sang him a song that Archana taught us. Archana taught us this song. It's the international in Bengali. Jago 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 sarbohara. Onoshono bondikrito dash. And Hari had wanted me to sing this to him many times. I said, no, Hari, I can't sing anymore. We used to have a singing party. Archana had to make a group of us and we used to go around singing the international along with revolutionary songs from Bengal. And Hari had asked me to sing and I didn't sing. But at his deathbed, I sang him. I sang him the international in Bengali and he passed. And he passed listening to the strains of the international in Bengali. I'm happy about that. Hari, wherever you are, you're always with me. I remember you. We all remember you. Owe you a heck of a lot. So Hari, my beloved friend, the other thing I need to say is, it's a year now. It's actually almost a year since I came out of the hospital. And Harinder told the story. I'm not proud of it. I mean, it's my principle to carry on, and so on, which I did. And I ignored my son berated me sufficiently on this, on my arrogance and my stupidity, which I acknowledge. I did not go to a doctor. I thought, it's okay, what's the bloody point, and so on. Let's get on with the meetings. But the result was actually okay. I was going to die. I mean, the doctors had given up hope and so on. And okay. So I was okay. I was okay with that. No problem. You know, when it's time to go, one goes. But I must say, I realized that it was not necessary. Moreover, it's desirable to live because my friends kept coming. And the amount of love that I saw from my friends was so vital, gave me such vitality, so much energy. I had never experienced anything like that. The love. And the love of friends. And the idea that Harinder said, that I came up with all kinds of projects, that's what kept the projects coming in. I couldn't sleep at night, so I would sort of sleep, stay awake and think up things. And when my friends came in the morning, I would tell them what ideas I had overnight. But it's all happened because the love I experienced from my friends. So it is the love of friends that really inspired me to recover, to fight back, to beat the system and to come back and to do some more, to raise some more shit. So thank you very much.
To Chinda. I mean, let's toast to Chinda. Well, we are now going to break for dinner. It's served, and we will start with this table, and we'll go like this and go around and get some food and eat. But be back and finish eating in about 15-20 minutes because we have an amazing program for you. We have a musician who has traveled from Alberta to come and perform for you. And we have some incredible musicians here. and poets and artists who are going to help us enjoy rest of the evening and celebrate our beautiful brother Chinda. Thank you. So go ahead and have your dinner.